What is up? Congratulations. You did it. You stumbled upon the Not a Podcast podcast. Right. You're about to hear some shit that's going to change your life or entertain you or both. With Jackman, producer extraordinaire here.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Right. Nice dressed up Jackman.
We're back.
We're back, baby. Bart, owner, CEO of Project Power Gym. Hit that like. Hit that subscribe.
Yeah.
Tell some friends. Comment. Let's have a conversation. I'm interested to what you guys are thinking. It's usually a bunch of negative shit, but it's fun to entertain sometimes.
You know what it is? It's the short people that follow short form content. They're always going to be negative comments, and then the long form content.
Why do you say that?
I think it's a couple things. I think short form content's indicative of like a scattered attention span and not a commitment to something, and so that kind of is reflected through how people comment on these
assumptions.
Assumptions. Quick context.
Assumptions.
Yep.
You know what? That's very true because you take any sentence out of context, you can spin that motherfucker any way you want.
Right.
Which is what our media does.
Right.
Constantly.
Exactly.
But if you listen to the whole form thing, you then you get character traits, and then you get, the
nuances of how this person talks and
feelings, emotions, thought processes. You can see how they got where they got. Yeah, okay. I can see all that.
Yeah. So
that's either way, it's entertaining for me. So like if you write a whole bunch of mean shit and stuff, like I've never had a platform where because it's usually anytime I post, it's like friends or people that know me that like and comment. So typically it's a lot of positive feedback. Right. I don't really have a lot of reach to random people who don't know me. So this is my first time really getting like a lot of hate and shit, and you never really know how you're going to handle things until you have to handle them. And I always thought that it wouldn't bother me. And it's cool that it genuinely not only doesn't bother me, but it's like entertaining because it's like a psychological thing that I'm like, oh, this person thought that. Like that's crazy. Like I wonder what their life is like. I wonder what their day-to-day thought processes are. It's genuinely intriguing to me because I so genuinely have a positive intent with everything that I do, and I know that whatever negativity you're bringing my way, you don't know me or the subject matter enough. Because if you did, you wouldn't have that negative demeanor towards me.
Completely.
Right? Have you ever heard of like, if you have a problem with me, call me, and if you don't have my phone number, you don't know me well enough to have a problem with me.
I haven't heard that, but I like it.
No?
Yeah.
There you go. I don't know where I got it from. But it's 100% true, right? So, anyway, man, what's up? What's new? What's good?
Yeah, things are cool.
How's business?
Business is cool. We've talked about this in the past, but the idea of like if you're sitting down to watch Netflix for an hour and you have 30 minutes of yard work to do, it's like you're not going to enjoy 100% of that Netflix if you haven't done the yard work. If you do the yard work, then you can sit down and do 30%, enjoy 50% of the Netflix, the 30 minutes, right? But I'm at that point where I'm like, I feel like I can't enjoy anything right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no time that I can spend outside of working that I can possibly enjoy. So
what happens when you try?
It's the same. I'm like, anxiousness pops up. So
then why are you trying to watch?
Well, I'm like, not necessarily trying to watch, like not even just Netflix, but just any time I'm spending not on the business, anytime.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that anxiety pops up.
So let me ask you, like, what is making you want to not spend time on the business? Like, let's use Netflix watching as an example. Like, why are you sitting down to watch Netflix?
That's not even. I'm trying to think of a better example because I don't even do that.
Or whatever.
Sure,
go hang out with somebody or go out to dinner or whatever, right? Like
I like relationships. Let's do that. Like relationships are important to me, very important to me, and
hang out with friends, finding a girlfriend.
Like that's important stuff to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't. It's a lot harder for me to just completely enjoy that.
So don't.
But I do enjoy it if I didn't have this, right? Like
So it's always about a priority list of like what matters most right now, and a big flaw of, you know, the scroll generation is those parts of life are extremely important, dude. Interpersonal relationships are extremely important. Downtime to recharge and all that stuff is extremely important. Like there's no doubting or controversy when it comes to that. However, you're at a time of your life right now where you can devote a lot of your life to building something that obviously matters a lot to you, right? So, like, why are we fighting that? If when you're not doing it, you have anxiety. So then I'll ask one more question. What type of anxiety do you have? What is it that is running through your head when you're not doing something, let's say, towards your business?
Yeah, it's like let's say this. It's the end of the night. I'm tired. I want to relax. I don't have energy anymore. But even if I sit down and try to relax in some way, the back of my mind is you could be working, you could be working, you could be working.
Is there anything specific you could be working on? Do you have like a pressing thing that you're putting off that you should be doing?
It's more of those things that I think I'm supposed to be doing that I don't even know.
Okay,
like,
so it's fear. This is fear-based.
Yeah.
This is anxiety based off of fear,
Yeah.
not off of logic.
Yeah, definitely. I would say so.
Right? Because if you have a lawn that needs cutting, that is a specific thing that has a time frame associated with it, that if you sit down to watch Netflix instead of doing, you have a specific thing that you should be doing instead of watching Netflix. When you're sitting down right now at the end of a long day and you're fucking tired, you're afraid that if you're not constantly working that it's going to fall apart or that you're going to miss an opportunity that you should have.
For sure.
But that is conceptual. That's a theory you have because you have nothing pressing. You don't have an actual action item list that you should be doing that you're actively not doing. Does that make sense? So if at the end of the day, let's say you have a client, and let's say me, Tuesday mornings at midnight or whatever, our episode comes out, right? And you've scrambled, and unfortunately you haven't uploaded it like you should. And you get home last night, and instead of uploading the fucking thing, you sit on the couch and try to watch Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you have anxiety, and because you're actively not doing something you should be doing. But if you lay down and you've accomplished your tasks for the day, you have no more things that you have to get done, and then you sit down and watch TV, and then your anxiety pops on. That anxiety has nothing to do with something you should be doing. It instead is fear of not knowing if what you're doing is going to get you to where you're trying to go. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So like if you're in the middle of Serengeti, we've used this analogy before, and you're on a safari, at the end of the night, it's time to go to bed. And before you guys went to bed, the safari guide's like, okay, we're going to put these 3 traps up and then this little barrier here so that if like a lion walks by, like we're safe. When you go to lay down, you're going to be freaking the fuck out because you don't know how much defense is the right defense. You don't know what kind of offense the animals are going to bring. Like you have no fucking clue. So you can't just rest because you're like, I should be doing more defensive work around our camp because I don't know. The other guy has been doing it for so long. He goes, no, these 3 things are fine. We can go to sleep restfully right now. So the longer you're in business, the more you'll start understanding like what is pressing, what isn't pressing, what you need to get done per day, what you don't need to get done per day. Because in that, I don't remember which non-episode it was, but you know, I use that assembly line analogy where if you're on an assembly line and you first get the job, they show you a video of how many, all the steps. You're going to get to the point where you know that these 5 steps don't have to get done today, and my product is still exactly the way it should be, and blah, 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 blah. So the way you combat what you're feeling, bro, is make an action item list per day that you know for a fact needs to get done. And once it's done, like you're done. Andy Frisella has... what is it called?
Win the day, the
5 critical task lists. There's like a name for it, isn't there?
power list.
Power list.
Yeah.
Got it. I should know that. Sorry, man. Yeah, the power list. So you get these 5 things done by noon, You can be done for the rest of the day. You can earn extra credit by doing more shit if you're done by noon and you don't want to be done for the day. But like, set yourself up that way. Because if you don't and you just leave it like open-ended, then you could feel that same way about anything that you're trying. Like if you get a girlfriend, and how many nice things can you do to a girlfriend? It's infinite. You could literally do nice things from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, if you wanted to, right? There's a limit. There's like a procedural fucking process where you go, okay, that's enough nice things for today. You know. Otherwise, it's overbearing.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
right.
it's too much. Otherwise, it's right. Same thing with the clients and the work that you're doing. You can take a perfectly edited podcast or video or whatever, and you can overdo it. You can over-edit it. You can over-filter it. You can there's a point where you're just like, I'm done. This is finished. And so outlining yourself clear outlines will help your anxiety, and that way you can take the time to actually recharge and regenerate properly. But I'm not saying that is going to happen all the time. There are going to be days where you have to work 18 fucking hours, 19 hours, 20 hours, 22 hours. Don't sleep at all. Like you just have to. Excuse me. Doing something that no one else has done, or doing something to a degree no one else has done in terms of quality, requires you to do crazy shit, man. And no one will understand it. No one will agree with you. And everyone will tell you how what you're doing isn't good for you. And then once it works, they'll say how proud of you they are and how inspired they are and all that stuff. So, number one, don't let the conversations of hypothetical people in your mind fuck you up. If you're laying on the couch and you've done the work for the day, don't lay there and be like, well, Bart probably is still working, or, all these motivational gurus talk about, hustle till you die and don't ever sleep and blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, it's just, if you're done, you're done. If you're not, you're not. Keep it fucking simple, stupid.
When you were starting Project Power, did you have like a power list, or did you have something to that extent? Like what did that look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, the process to open this was from the planning stage to the permit stage to talking to contractors to ordering equipment. So yeah, every single spot had tasks to get done. So I don't know, have you ever like built anything out of wood?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you build things, there's what I would call stopping points. So, for example, if I built a barn door for my daughter's nursery, and first you have to make sure all the planks of wood are exactly the same size and shape, and that takes a certain amount of time. Once I'm done with that, I then look at the next thing that needs to get done, and then I see how long that process would take. So if I go, okay, this took me 6 hours, this next thing I have to do, which is sand it and then stain it, will probably take me another 7 hours. Do I have another 7 hours today to do that? If the answer is no, well, then this is now a stopping point, and then tomorrow I will pick up from here and see how far I can go. So it's very similar when I was building the gym. There was natural stopping points along the way. There were things that I needed to get done. Once I got those things done, I would look at the next thing that was to get done. Was there enough hours left today with what I had to do to complete this next task? If it wasn't able to be completed today, I wouldn't start it today. I would start it in the next day or the next opportunity I had for that many hours. Does that make sense? So with this, there were like inherent powerless tasks to accomplish. Because you're also on the mercy of like the town and the inspectors, like, whenever they're going to come. So time in between, there was lulls. My contractor came once a week to fucking work, which took 6 extra months to fucking build it. So that is my worst game, is setting powerless tasks. That's why I have that advice for you, because it's essentially advice for myself. Because I do that internally. Mm-hmm. I run through my day and I go, what did I do today? What kind of progress did what I did today make? Is there anything left on the table that I could do today to continue progress? And if there is, how pressing is it that I do it today? What difference will it literally make whether I do it today or to tomorrow? Because if the pressing isn't high, like the value of what I'm about to do isn't high, well, then the value of me recovering is higher. Like I will be able to perform better tomorrow if I take this next 2 hours that I would have done this meaningless task and instead took a bath, drank some tea, went to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now today I'm a fucking beast monster all over again because I have enough restful sleep and I have energy and I'm mentally with it. But if I let my fear work, then I would have stayed up and did this meaningless task and like patted myself on the back. I said, I outworked everybody today. I'm not really worried about like, you want to win the season. You want to win the championship. You want to win as many games as you can leading up to that, no doubt. But like I'm here to win the championship. And whatever gets me to that spot, that's what I'm going to do. So, yeah, I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, because I have like a POA, a plan of action for each day. But I just don't think I think I'm not giving it enough attention. Like it's just in my reminders in my phone, and I think having that up on the whiteboard, having that up in front of me, making it crystal clear. Like, yeah, I think.
So, this plan of action, are they like daily tasks that you need to get done, or are they just like generalized concepts?
Daily tasks, yeah.
Okay. So how are they in the background if it's something you have to do every day?
Because are
they the same thing every day?
I am no, not necessarily, but maybe similar. But I think I'm improperly, like I'll put like fucking 8 things on there and then only accomplish 4.
Ah.
But if I only put 4 on there, I'm like, well, couldn't you do more? Like, even if it's that loop going through my head.
But see, that's my point. That's my point of like you're trying to win the championship.
Right.
So, yes, you could put 8, and if 8 today gets you so fucked up that you can only do 2 tomorrow, which now throws you off track and makes you have to do 10 the next day, that quality of that 10 probably sucks.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like there has to be some self-regulation to understand like what my quality of work is. Because yes, I would like to get to stopping points, let's say when I'm building a barn door. But if halfway through this step I start rushing, or I can start seeing that like my attention is starting to fade or my energy is starting to fade, and I'm like, fuck it. The moment you say fuck it, like stop whatever the fuck it is you're doing and take a break. Because fuck it will never get you to where you're trying to go. Right? Fuck it is the first thing people notice. My wife, bro, God bless her. Her attention to detail when I do things is insane. This woman can see the smallest of imperfections with something that I build or move or whatever. And obviously it can be frustrating. However, I also think about that. That's called accountability while I'm doing whatever it is that I'm doing. She never like bitches that it takes too long. But if she notices that one edge is smoother than the other or shorter than the other or higher than the other, she doesn't say, oh, that looks nice. Hey, but did you notice that? She goes, why is that corner crooked? And like that eats my soul alive because I just put so much time and effort into this, right? So I'm about to waste 23 hours of high quality work because I'm too afraid to take a break to make sure that my quality of work stays high. But if there's a deadline, you better be damn well sure that you give yourself enough time to reach that deadline. This is where I fucked up as a kid, dude. I thrive under pressure. Or so I told myself. Because really what the answer is, and really what the reality of the matter of the fact is, I procrastinated my ass off because I was lazy as fuck. And it wasn't up until I had to do it that I start. And I was able to do it. And here I go. Here's my work. I turned it in. So then I fucking made myself believe somehow that I thrive under pressure. And until there's pressure, I don't do my best work. That's bullshit. I guarantee you that if I gave myself 2 weeks to do what I did in one night, I'd give in a lot better fucking work. I'd give you a lot higher quality shit. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But we justify because I'm able to accomplish the goal. And then I somehow started believing that I thrive under pressure. And I think that's a lot of times what we do with everything that we do. We use our imperfections and somehow try to spin them as a reason why we do things the way we do.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. Totally.
Versus really caring about the end product or caring about what type of service I'm providing or like what quality of whatever I'm doing am I providing. And like if that's really what your main focus is, well then you'll start early. You'll take your time. You'll make sure that you're attentive. But if our goal is just to get something done, well then yeah, none of that will matter for sure. But it's bullshit. And that's something I had to really unlearn is procrastination. Like a lot. And I battle with that every single day. Because I have so much faith in myself that I'll get it done. And by whatever metrics or standards of others, it's satisfactory work. It's accepted work. But by what I know I can produce, it's dog shit. If I took my time and did what I was supposed to do, yeah, me not taking enough time and pretending that I need pressure to get something done is just a loophole for me to be fucking lazy and worry about it later. You ever have those situations where someone texts you and you go, you think to yourself like, this is not a good time to have this conversation, so I'll make sure I text them back later, and you never fucking do.
Yeah.
Then you look like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Just fucking do it now. Just do it now. Do as many things now as you possibly can. Call the person right now. I did that yesterday. Someone's like, hey, will you call me? And in my mind, I'm like, okay, I think I can call him between this time. I'm like, no, just fucking call him right now. Just go call him. And sure did. And it took less time than I thought it would. And it was a great conversation and it was awesome.
How do you develop that skill of like doing it now? Other than just doing it now. It's easy to say maybe, but
you grow the fuck up, man.
Yeah.
You stop being immature. I mean, listen, we indulge ourselves so much. Like everything that we do is an indulgence pretty much nowadays. The way we eat is an indulgence. The way we, drive, like everything is an indulgence to comfort. And this like procrastination is an indulgence to the same laziness, right? It's an indulgence. So like if you can get yourself to stop indulging in processed foods, if you can stop indulging in skipping the gym, if you can force yourself to do difficult things because you know that those difficult things will make your life easier, right? Do hard things, make your life easier. That just goes along with it. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. Like for me, because of, my upbringing and everything, the thing I'm most proud of whenever I do it is when I do something now. Like when there's something to do and I just fucking just go do it. I don't know why, but I feel like a man. I feel mature. I feel like an adult. I feel like a leader. I feel like that's what makes me feel most good about myself. Is when something needs to be done and then I get up and do it right away. I don't know. It could be the smallest, dude, throwing away the trash. I saw a funny video someone sent me where it's like the wife taking out the trash. No, first it shows the husband taking out the trash. Ties the thing, throws it over his shoulder, walks outside, walks out the garage, turns and throws it into the trash can. Wife throwing out the trash. Ties the knot, opens the garage door, throws it on the garage door floor, and closes the door. And it's obviously like I've done that. Everyone's done that where they're like, okay, next time I'm walking outside to my car, I'll take this trash bag to the trash. Just take it to the fucking trash. We do that all day.
Yeah.
All day.
Probably 100 times a day.
Bro, without even thinking about
probably
it.
200 times a day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we mask it as an efficiency, right? Well, why would I take the trip to the trash now if I know in 4 hours I'm going to walk out to my car? Why don't I just take it then? Because in 3 hours, someone calls you and you completely forget about the trash, and then you walk out your front door because they pick you up, and then you come home, and then there's a fucking raccoon. Like, a lot of the issues that we face are because we said we'd do it later.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the issues that we face are because we say we'd do it later. Do it now.
Can you put a name? Can you diagnose that with a name? And then I'm asking selfishly too, by the way, for what we can talk about later. But is there like a word for that?
For laziness?
Yeah.
It's lazy. It's procrastinating. I don't know, dude. I think sometimes maybe people think that if they... I know somebody personally that is literally their strategy. Is if something happens, they just don't do anything about it, and they first see if it like sorts itself out. Like, as dumb as this, a light went out one time at their place of business, and they didn't replace it, and they didn't replace it, and they didn't replace it, and they didn't replace it. And then one day it turned back on. And the guy's like, see, that's why I don't do anything. Sometimes problems just solve themselves. And I'm like, bro, that is like the worst fucking strategy for life ever. But it's not a thing that doesn't exist. It does. That type of strategy does exist. And for select people, they deem it a successful strategy. Meaning, if someone's mad at them or there's a miscommunication, they just avoid that person for the rest of their life. And then somehow either the person forgives or forgets, and then the relationship just comes right back to where it was, never speaking about what caused the rift in the first place. And so now the person's like, see, I just saved myself all that turmoil and we're fine. When in the actuality, you're not fine. There's an underlying issue that's going to blow up in your face later. And then you're going to say the world's unfair and how negative things are because you're starting to gain all these problems. Why is all these bad things happen to me? Well, if you link them back, you did or didn't do something to cause that. Like your brakes. I'm sure there's some maintenance that you skipped, possibly, to make your brakes go out. Maybe it's a manufacturing thing. But were you maintaining that car as properly as you should?
For the point of the story, we'll say, yeah, you're right. I could have done something. I got cut off and I slammed on the brakes and then I had to go.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. I forgot that part of the story. So no,
but I get where I get your point.
But like, I'm wondering if you had any responsibility about that. Could have seen them coming.
I had a green light and they stopped.
No, that was your fault, Jack. You need to tighten your shit up, bro. No, but yeah, like if you have the concept of like I'll just avoid it.
Yeah.
Like it's not like you're not
totally.
At the very least, if you have that concept of I'm just going to avoid problems until they sort themselves out, you're at the mercy of the world. You're literally running a roller coaster that you have no control over, and you're going to feel that way. And that's why you're going to sit there and wish and win the lottery and hope that someone gives you an opportunity, and because in your mind it has nothing to do with your actions. And then you have the flip side of that of people who are way too fucking controlling and try to solve every problem all the time, even if they're not really fucking problems. Someone needs to tell that person to fucking deadlifting like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, I would not want to be that guy deadlifting right now.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the most manly thing that I think about myself is my ability whenever I choose to do it, which is not 100% because everything is always an effort. But whenever I do it, like I feel good about myself for getting it done.
That's in a similar segue, like the greatest thing that my dad ever taught me out of anything that he's ever taught me is not to make excuses. And it's like it's that same thing. It's like when you make excuses, you are taking away the ability for you to be responsible for not only your losses but your victories too.
Yeah, we talked about that the other time with like if I do work for my employee instead of letting them have the opportunity to fuck up, they'll never feel the joy of not fucking up. It's no different. And isn't that easy to segue as to why so many people are sad is because they just don't give themselves the opportunity to fuck up. Like they try to avoid fucking up all the time. So as you tried to avoid fucking up, you're going to avoid the potential of success and victory, bro. Like if a game, there are no losers, there's no winners. Like that's why not keeping score is the dumbest thing I've ever fucking heard.
And there's no game at all.
It's not a game.
Yeah.
It's practice. You know, even in practice, we used to make competitions.
Yeah, or it's a play. It's like
something.
A theatrical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's acting.
Yeah.
We're acting
Right.
athletes.
Right.
We're acting like athletes. Which, dude, I don't know if that's like a maturity thing, but like I think that's almost like a progressive how people's like personalities grow. They care more first about looking a certain way, and then they start caring about being a certain way. So like when I was growing up, like I told you on the last episode that you know, I just wanted to look like the biggest, baddest motherfucker. I wanted you to perceive me physically as something, and then, you know, create observational things against me based off of how I look. I didn't care if I actually was those things, right? I wanted to look strong. I didn't give a fuck if I was strong. I wanted to look muscular so that you thought I was strong, so you thought I could beat you up. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't until much, much later in life that I actually gave a fuck about actually being that person, right? You know, kids dress up in superhero outfits all the time, right? And that's, I think, what a lot of people do until they grow up, even in their adolescence and early teens and late teens, early 20s. Like, they just care about looking like the character they're trying to be versus actually being the character they're trying to be. So if you look like you have your shit together, you have nice clothes, you have a nice car, you have a nice house, you have a hot wife. Like, if you look like you have your shit together, that's all that matters. But you're miserable, you don't like the fucking clothes you wear, the car is really expensive and you don't even like the fucking car. You know, the house is a burden because the bills are super high, and your wife gets on your fucking nerves every goddamn day, and you're miserable. At some point, that's going to start to matter, which is, I think, what people call like a midlife crisis, is when they start like, I want to experience all these things that I didn't experience. Well, it goes one of two ways. They do all the stuff they said they wouldn't do as a young person, which is, you know, go spend money and go do. But the other side of it is they grow the fuck up and actually become the character traits they were pretending to have. And like I said, me deciding to do things when it's time to do things is like a superhero trait that I've always wanted to pretend to have. But then when I actually execute the character trait, that's when I feel best about myself. You know, we had a hailstorm here in Missouri, and I had an insurance check. I've never had an insurance check before, but it was made out to like the car company, myself, my wife. So like you have to go get it endorsed by a third party. You know, and I only have 2 to 3 hours in between clients in the middle of my day, which requires me to get my workout in, do any household chores, whatever. So like it's very easy for me to get like this piece of information of like, okay, Bart, you're going to have to go to the bank at some point. And me be like, okay, I'll have to find another day where I have time to do that. Well, every day is the fucking same. I don't understand when I thought a different day would happen that I would have more time. So I just got in the car as fast as I possibly could and you know, took care of it. It was a simple task. It wasn't complicated, but I did it right when I decided to do it. You know, I didn't put it off. And for whatever reason, it felt that much better. You know, and then when you ask somebody how their day was, they're like, man, I was really productive today. That's what I think that they're saying.
I did things right when I was supposed to.
I
totally can feel that.
Right?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I was productive today.
Yeah.
Yeah? You're productive almost every single day. But why did you feel productive today? Why? Because I didn't procrastinate today. I didn't put anything off today. Right when I needed to do it, I fucking did it all day long. I folded the laundry and put it away after washing it in the same day. Oh, look at me. I didn't let laundry sit in a basket for 3 days. You see what I'm saying? I emptied the dishwasher right when it was done. I didn't let it sit in the fucking dishwasher for a week and just take plates out of the dishwasher. You know? Those kind of victories, bro, you string those together, that's called momentum, and that momentum gets you into places you didn't think you could fucking get to.
You start going like this instead of like this.
That's right. Because then you start applying that same logic to other shit, and all of a sudden you're...
To your relationships, to the conversations you're supposed to be having.
That's right. That's right. I'm not happy with how that turned out. Let me say something about it right now, versus just we'll talk about it later. You know, but that go ahead.
No, I had nothing to say.
But that then kind of leads you down that path where you feel like you're spinning a lot of plates at once, right? Because if you start doing all the things that need to be done right when they need to be done, that's like, let me ask you this: when you're walking and you're just trying to go from point A to point B, do you ever really like question like, man, I really hope I don't trip and fall?
No.
When you're running full fucking speed somewhere and you have to run as fast as you possibly can, does that thought creep into your mind?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right. So the higher performance you're performing at, the more, for whatever reason, your mind goes to like, what's going to stop this performance? And then you start focusing on what's going to sabotage this awesome fucking feeling that I have, or this awesome chain of actions that I've been taking. And that's what you end up indulging in. And then you indulge in the feeling of, well, I'm going to slow down so I don't trip. Or you trip. Because not very many people stay sprinting. And that's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying sprinting as long as I possibly can in every avenue of my life. You know?
What would the world look like if we cured procrastination?
I don't know, man. It's a funny thought, because I think a lot about, these tactics or habits or rituals or whatever that highly successful people have. And you go, man, wouldn't it be a better place if more people adopted all these traits? But you know how I am about nature and organic, right? So automatically, what do I think? I think all that would happen, would there be just a new weakest link of all those people? And then the highest performers of the high performers would be like, man, I really wish those fucking sandbag bitches in the back would pick up their pace, right? It'd be the same as it is now. We might have cooler shit. I don't think we would ever solve world hunger, or we would ever really solve any of like the problems of the world, because I think the problems of the world are always going to be the outliers of the spectrum, dude.
There's a hierarchy is necessary in nature.
It doesn't. There are always winners and losers. Right. Like it is impossible to have strictly winners. Right. You could not have an entire ecosystem of just herbivores. Right. Like wouldn't happen, because all the plants would die and then all the animals would die. Like we need carnivores to eat the herbivores, and we need the herbivores to eat the plants, and then we need the carnivores to die to turn into fertilizer for more plants. Like it all has it all needs to be. So like to say that if we bring the level of everybody up, like we're just the same thing at a higher level. Like we just have cooler cars and better technology, but there's still going to be a guy running faster than another guy. That's just how it is.
That's why communism can't work.
Let's
get political.
Yeah, well, it can't work, and it's awful. And if anyone has ever been to a socialist country, anyone who comes from a socialist country fights tooth and fucking nail to not let their new country become socialist. Anyone who hasn't been a socialist country all of a sudden thinks it's a great idea and we should try it. Go ahead. Go to fucking Cuba or what is it, Venezuela. Like go to these socialist countries and see how you do. Like you have opportunities. That's why I think it's so funny how so many of these outspoken people, and I know it's for clickbait and bullshit, and everyone's out putting microphones in people's faces, and I understand that it's just entertainment. But for anyone that wants to experience something, I promise you there's somewhere in the world you can go to experience it. If you want to experience anarchy, I'm sure there's a country out there that has absolutely minimal policing and minimal fucking government, and you can see what it's like to not have any rules. If you think that communism is great, try to get your ass into North Korea. Like, figure it out and go see how it is, you know? You don't have to be hypothetical and let's go try it on American soil. Like, American soil developed because of the bullshit that other countries were pulling, and we're like, we're going to fix it. We're going to try it this way. So, but anyway, yeah, if you really were to think about like what it would actually be like if everyone was like the same, like that's terrifying. That's no value, the value would cease to exist. Because value has everything to do with scarcity. A value item is a scarce item. A value character trait is a character trait that few possess. Precious gemstones, dinosaur bones, like all the things that are extremely high of value are only high of value because they're uncommon. Mm-hmm. So you make it common, there goes the value. Mm-hmm. So, you think, wouldn't the world be a better place if everyone had all these virtues and values? No, because that commonality then would be in such a way that there would grow a new set of uncommon character traits.
Couldn't that be parallel to like the idea of like, well, the richer you get, let's say, your problems still happen, they just become better problems.
No.
Couldn't we say that's fair to say as far as like
that statement isn't true? The richer you get better problems. That's I don't understand that concept.
There are the problems of being poor and, let's say being surrounded by violence, and then you get money and now you're in a nice house. You have problems still. They're just better problems. That's kind of what
No, I wouldn't agree with that. I wouldn't agree with that at all. No, not even close. Problems are problems. And for example, if your problem is you're poor and you just need to get some food, like all you care about is just getting some food, that's a problem for sure. Let's say you're really rich and, you don't need to worry about food, obviously. But now there's like people trying to kill you because you are worth so much dead to them because of insurance money or whatever. Like your life is in danger both ways. Let's say you're famous. Someone can come up to your fucking car and shoot you because of some Looney Tunes shit that they watched you say on TikTok and they disagreed with to the point where they think they need to end your life. Like, they're different problems, but they're not better problems. They're not easier problems. Like, think about having to have a security guard with you at all times so that you can feel safe. Like that's fucking awful. Like, that's terrible. To not even be able to do a mundane task without having to have people guard you against other people. Sometimes the simple problems, I would say, are the easier ones. To find some food, to find some water, to just manage to stay alive. I would say that's why we then, because the majority of us don't have simple problems that cause life or death, wouldn't you agree that we make problems as severe as life or death, even though they have nothing to do with it?
Yeah, humans definitely make problems for themselves if they don't have any.
It's a human condition, sure. Not because it's a human condition, but because it's a natural condition. Every animal out there is afraid of death 24 hours a day. They have the potential to die 24 hours a day. Mm-hmm. Every single one of them. You watch any nature show, it's just fucking and dying. That's all it is. That's all any documentary about nature is like they had sex, they made little ones, and then the little ones have to fend for themselves and not die every day. Like that's literally all nature is. So we've taken death out of the equation so far, but instinctually we still have that same fear base. So like we just apply it to like, if I don't get this loan, my life is over. If she breaks up with me, my life is over. If I sit in this parking lot because I made 2 million followers on TikTok hate me, my life is over, Like, but they're not easier problems. The more money you have, I don't think. I've been around high-level people with a lot of money, and problems are problems, man. Family problems are family problems. Personal problems are personal problems. Health problems are health problems, regardless of how much money you have. So I would not agree that if you have more money, you have better problems. That's someone who, okay, let me ask you this. You grew up 5 foot with braces. Yeah? Would you say that you have less problems now than you did then? The answer is no. And that's why it's taking you so long to answer.
I don't know. I mean,
You don't have those problems.
My problems are part of like a, business that, that I'm passionate about and like how to solve these problems. But maybe before my problems were with a sales job that I fucking hated, like, I don't know. I mean, to me, that's a better problem. Like the problems I have now are difficult and they cause me stress, but the ones before were difficult and they caused me stress. And I hated that. And I love the process I'm a part of now.
Okay. So this is what you're meaning. And I agree with this. We're going to put problems in our way. Scratch that. Problems will be part of our lives. We've already talked about that in the life equation, right? Chaos is part of the equation of the universe. You either get to choose your problems because you're actively trying to accomplish something, or you get problems based off of your avoidance of things. One are unwelcomed problems because you're just trying to avoid everything. So any issue that comes up, you're like, this isn't my issue. I don't want this. But when you decide to run a business, or you decide to go after a girl, when you decide to go do something, and then you get problems from it, you go, I decided for these problems. So I have a lot more energy and more want to solve them because I've chosen these problems.
Definitely. I think, rich may not have been the right word.
Correct.
Choosing solvency over your life.
There you go. That's the biggest difference because money has absolutely nothing to fucking do with that.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
So I will 100% agree with that, which is what the whole point of this is, you've heard this now cliche 100 times, like choose your hard, right? Like avoiding life will make your life hard or making your life will make your life hard. But if you make it yourself, at least you're the one deciding what's going on and what you have to deal with. I know what I signed up for when I opened a public gym, and I know what I signed up for when I got employees. I know what I signed up for when I put toilets in my gym. Like, I'm going to have to clean shit out of toilets. Like, it's not a surprise. I'm not surprised by any of these things. Do I like doing them? No. But are they surprises? No, they're not. Even like you driving, like you had to slam on your brakes. Well, that's what you do when you drive in public. There's some bad fucking drivers out there.
Yep.
So
I'd rather have that than riding a bike right now, for sure.
Yeah, and you could very easily, with the wrong mindset, be like, well, fuck, man, if I just rode my bike today, I wouldn't have this problem whatsoever. But that's not a real fucking problem.
That's unreasonable.
That's right. That's an after the fact type of thing. So choose your problems by right when things need to get done, go do them. Get them done. Then the problems that come up somehow you can handle. You're not overwhelmed. And even if you are overwhelmed, you still feel like accomplishing it. You still feel like taking another step. You don't run away. We don't run away from things we want. Not really.
Run towards the roar.
Run towards the fucking roar, bro.
You have a lot of African analogies.
I've never been to Africa.
Yeah, you gotta go. I was thinking.
I feel like I'd be at home. I feel like, oh, hello, Zimbabwe, I'm back.
You go up and just crack.
And then the lion's like, oh, dude, Bart's here.
Yeah, they all know.
What's up, dude? Click, click, dot, dot. Comes over. Yeah, that's gonna get me some hate. What did you get from today, bro?
Yeah, I think today was a really good conversation. One of the things I'm going to do that I was thinking midway through after our discussion around the power list and around focusing your attention correctly, I'm going to really clearly define what my duties are and just the way that my schedule works. I work out at 6 o'clock, but then I continue to work into the evening. But I'm more tired then. So what I'm going to do now, and I came to this conclusion from this podcast, is the more mindless tasks.
It's not a podcast.
Damn it.
Sorry, go ahead.
The more mindless tasks that I have that don't require as much mental energy, I'm pushing all of those to the end of the night. Everything that requires creativity is going to all go before the workout now.
Yeah, I like that.
And I got that from our conversation.
There you
today,
go. 100%. That's a great way of thinking about it, because that's the same reason why some people choose to work out at certain times of the day, because they feel like they have a better workout at that time, right? Whether that be morning or night. Cool. I like it. Anything else?
I enjoyed the hell out of our procrastination discussion. I'm building that app. That's like trying to solve procrastination, which is why I was asking you some questions about that.
Which I'm actually starting something, so we'll talk about this off camera, but I actually have a way to start implementing your app on an actual like training thing that I'm doing.
Awesome.
So we can talk about that.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
All right. Don't be a pussy and
Consent.
and any lucky ladies out there.
Jack, attempt number 2. Someone
you're-
please go out with Jack.
If you're making it, I'm desperate. Man. I
Okay.
really need it right
No,
now.
fuck that,
need
dude.
this so
Absolutely not. No.
Oh, I
That's-
need a relationship.
That's so bad to
That's
do.
when the best relationships happen, right? When
No,
you're
it is.
desperate?
Yeah. Okay. You're being sarcastic. I get it. Okay. Well, actually, ladies, don't even try because you have no fucking chance.
You don't have a shot
You
with
don't
me,
have
baby.
an absolute chance in hell.
Yup.
But if you need to, send your application over. I'll sift through them, and then I'll hand the best one to Jack, and we'll see if we'll contact you.
Project Power speed dating episode?
Dude, I'm just saying, like, this is going to be an empire.
Fuck yeah.
This is going to be an empire, and that's definitely part of the pillar
Cool.
is relationships. All right, go away. Go do something. Bye.
Cool.